Hey everyone, hope you've had a wonderful time and wonderful lives since our last video. This is just going to be a quick little update on some of the tanks, some of the changes, as well as some further in-depth on some of the fry that I showed in the last video. Hope you'll watch to the end and hope you can enjoy this. So, grab your coffee, sit down on the couch, and let's get right into the video. Okay, starting off with the same tank as last time, we're immediately going in with this koi angelfish tank. Here we go. If you go close, you can see the female's quite plump. She's put on a bunch of weight since our last video, which is really good for me, which means the spawn is soon. And if you come towards the side here, you'll see there is no breeder box. Okay, don't worry, no fish died. Actually, some really good news. My first successful attempt at breeding angelfish and getting them to that fry stage has finally happened. So here we go. Let me take you in close to this tank. Yeah, as you can see in that back corner, there's quite a bit of fry. Not too many. This was a smaller spawn as it's their first time, and I think one of the main reasons why they spawned was due to the water quality change from a tank that was in a large community tank with a bunch of other cichlids, and now they're in a private 20-gallon, aside from some bristlenose that don't really have an effect on the water quality other than the algae that they'll be cleaning up on the sides, so which is actually quite positive. I have just got these guys on some baby brine shrimp. They haven't grown too much since the last video, as that was only about a week ago. Yeah, you can see just a little bit of growth, not too much as I said earlier, but on the good news, they have completely lost that adhesive little thing. I don't know what it's called, but that little adhesive thing that sticks them to the glass, and now they're completely free swimming. These guys are actually cohabiting with peacock gudgeons, which I'll show you in a second. Moving on to the next thing that has changed is actually the peacock gudgeons. Really excited for these guys as they were kind of something intentional. They just popped up, they're breeding, and so, I thought I'd give them a shot. As I said earlier in the last video, they're somewhat of a lower value species compared to some of the other stuff I'm focusing on producing, like compared to your rice fish or maybe even the crevensis, that's the tank you're running on top of right now. They go for $9 to $10 in my area at your local fish store. Obviously, as a hobbyist, to compete with that, you can't always just hope people will buy your stuff because they know it'll be parasite free. So I'm gonna actually have to price them a little bit lower, around $7 each. Compared to something about these crevensis, I could price them easily $30 each, as there's not really a market for them at your local fish store or your big chain stores like Big Al's. So here, let me get some B-roll of the adults and then swap into the fry for you guys while explaining more of the process on how I bred these guys. Okay, so here we're starting off with the parents and how I fatten them up before spawning. As for all of my fish, I fed them high quality live baby brine shrimp as well as a mix of, your prepared foods. I believe that the staple of every aquarium fish's diet should be a mix between prepared, live, and frozen foods. So that's what I'd like to do for every tank around here in the fish room. So as I said before, live baby brine shrimp and tons of water change. As you can see in the video and the next clip that we're about to swap to, there is absolute loads of cover. Right here, the caves that they actually spawned into were originally 3D printed by my brother for shrimp breeding and shrimp caves. And I just thought, if they're not that keen on raising their fry after their first failed spawn, might as well just add a ton of spawning moths and littered a whole bunch of caves around there. So that's what I did for actually spawning them. But up next, we'll discuss how I raise the fry. Okay, here we go. Transitioning over from the parents, we have the fry. These guys are actually cohab with the angelfish, which is really cool. They just spawned at the same time. I had no smaller tanks set up, so I decided to grow them out together. Here we go. Yeah, as you can see in this clip, it doesn't look like there's that many in here, but this clip does not do justice on how many peacock gudgeons were in here. I'm actually really surprised at how many we were able to get with just the classic, methylene blue and a bubbler in there. The way I actually hatched these out was, as I said before, methylene blue and a bubbler. At their maybe 5 day, since these guys are quite slow hatchers, especially in cooler water, at like the 5th day, I started hooking them up to cycle water through the tank. And then they kind of warmed up, and I guess that's where they picked up the development. A cool thing about these guys is since they're such a long hatcher, they're fresh, able to eat baby brine shrimp, which is very, very cool. Yeah, but also another cool thing about them being long hatchers is you can fully see them develop and moving in their little egg sac. Really, really cool fish, beautiful experience. Like I said, not really going to be hard producing these unless there's a lot of people looking for them in my area, since they're not too much of a high value species, but super fun breed and would recommend. And in classic wet head aquatics, you can't film a video without getting a little wet. As I lean over to film these, I dip my hair in a water change bucket. I guess it's kind of becoming a part of the series. New update, I actually moved and separated out a wonderful breeding group from my red shoulder Monica Peru. I mean, I'm gonna think of a better name for them, as they kind of have a gold shoulder or a yellow, and I really want to capitalize on how beautiful that sunshine sheen is for them. But I selected out a group of the finest, most colorful, best fins, best ventral fins. Is that something you look for as an angelfish breeder when starting a line of your own? Is also looking for genetic diversity, ones that have different interesting traits in each other, so you can have the healthiest F1 and F2 lines. And even further, I actually knew a guy who bred angels all the way up to F14, which is just insane. Like, that's my entire life right there. So actually, believe it or not, these guys are so high quality that these guys are the ones that I'm actually selling and not keeping. The ones that I'm keeping are just a little bit larger, a little more aggressive to feeding, and as I explained earlier, have extra long ventral fins, as that's something I love to look for. So because these guys are, I don't want to say culls, but I guess we'll say culls, the ones that I'm not keeping, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a clearance sale, clearing out most of my angelfish stock here, and I originally was pricing these guys around $20 a piece. I'm going to be dropping the price on my listings to around $15 a piece to even $10 a piece in people who are buying lots of batches. For people who are buying lots of batches, I tend to try and sell only to people far so they don't step on my market. Okay, moving on to the brood stock that I selected. Oh, actually, one quick thing I have to say. These are a little washed out in this photo because they're blue background instead of the black background like their counterparts. But yeah, this right here is actually a vinyl sticker. You can peel it off. They're easy to remove and easy to put on. I'm probably going to be changing that soon so these guys can darken up. But staying on track here, these guys are the ones that I selected. You can see all the traits that I just talked about in the last clip. This one right here is actually a perfect example of the ones you'd be looking for, whereas some of the other ones in the last batch had more rounded fins, like this guy over here on this side here. He's got a more shorter dorsal fin, and it's not that attractive, so I'm probably going to be removing him. Unfortunately, he didn't make the cut. But most of these guys are really, really nice and have that beautiful, majestic, triangular figure. And really, I'm really proud with the line and the stock I have here. As I said before, the other ones are going to be for sale, so get them while you can. Sticking with the theme of angelfish, we're going to be moving on to the angelfish I just picked up around last episode, which was probably about a week ago. Not actually exactly sure on that date, but I'll put it up on the screen. But they've settled in a ton. They've been displaying some courtship. The female's actually been quite nippy towards the male, but here, without further ado, let's show you these beauties. So the male is the one who's up at front. These guys really strike a pose every single time I start filming them, which is wonderful about them. The female's the one with the longer fins there on the right. As you can see, the male's fins are a little nipped. I'm sure that's just due to his past tank being filled with large cichlids, and also the female has been a little nippy towards the male. This could mean multiple things, and one of the things it could mean would be her trying to test and see, oh, hey, are you strong? Oh, hey, will you be able to protect my babies? And I've actually seen some of the beautiful lip-locking mating behavior. Really, really beautiful. These guys are just humongous. As you can see, I'm going to put my hand up in front of the tank in a second just to show you how big they are if they don't spook. Yeah, they're easily bigger than my hand, so these guys are around 6 inches in just body size. But really beautiful fish. I love this honey coating that they're getting on the top. I can't even imagine how beautiful that'll be during their breeding. These guys are just humongous. We're going back to the base of this rack here. We're going down low all the way to the bottom to check out our new tanks. So as you can see here, this is the biggest bristlenose I could find. I've got him in here with a common bristlenose female. He's definitely in spawning mode. As you can see, he's fanning away. Almost looks like he's fanning eggs, but that's actually just him trying to put on a show. Also with these tanks, we got them cohabiting with a pair of the wild Scalari angelfish. These are the ones from the 75-gallon. I actually really love how these guys are developing colors and as a pair showing beautiful courtship. I've only got them in here so I can treat them with some of my rapid cure and some medicine to get rid of their Calmaneris redworm. I think they might have some ick, which is unfortunate. Just gotta catch it as soon as you can with fish in a community tank, because ick is one of my, let's just say I've had really bad experiences with ick, and particularly with angelfish. But they seem to be recovering quickly. They've been in here for a couple of days. Actually, at the time of recording this, I have moved some dithers in, so they're definitely brightening up. But other than that, this is all good. As you can already see right now, we've got a down up theme. So sticking with our down up theme, we're going up to the tip top, highest tank in the room. Over here you can see the mosh pit is doing well. They're all doing real nice, putting on a bunch of size, growing super fast. The mystery snails have probably grown just a bit since the last time, as they've kind of slowed down their growth. But these Danios have been powering on strong and are getting quite big. As same with the rice fish, as you can see. I mean, in the last video, they just looked like little eyelashes. Now they're developing fully and becoming, you know, just miniature counterparts of their parents. Really enjoy seeing all these different fish grow up. Unfortunately, it's not something that is the most, sustainable for me as someone who's trying to run a business, as these fish, it's kind of a mismatch. I'm kind of rolling the dice to see, oh, will all of these work together? Oh, will these grow out at the same size, grow out at the same speed? Will they compete for food? So, I mean, after this, I'm probably going to be sticking to species-only breeding tanks. Unfortunately, I know this was super fun to experiment. I'll definitely, try and do more fun stuff like this, as, I am a hobbyist as much as I am a businessman. But, can't just do the fun stuff. Yeah, sticking with the same theme of the Danios, I know, why is this guy breeding so much of the low-value stuff? I know, I wish I wasn't competing with thousands of breeders in Indonesia who are pumping out tons of these fish, but they're just fun, little easy fish to do. I can add them in dithers onto the top of my tanks, but here we go. Let's switch to some B-roll footage. Okay, these guys are really, really, really small. So hard that I can barely even see them, but you'll see right in front of that black air tube, they're darting around. They're a little easier to find with the top down shot. The only problem with that is just the camera will never focus on them. They're super, super tiny. Like, as I said before, I bred these accidentally. I just have that little Lowell's fish breeder box in there, and they weren't even supposed to be in the tank, to be honest. I just couldn't catch them out for so long that I guess they spawned and the fry were able to hatch out. These fry are super, super cute, and just in about a month, they'll probably be the same size as the ones that I showed you in that mosh pit tank. But super fun and super easy fish to breed. Would recommend for sure. These last tanks, I'm just going to kind of breeze through these. I don't have much space left on the iPhone. I'm borrowing actually from my older brother, since mine, funny enough, I dropped it into a fish tank. I dropped it into a fish tank this morning, and, I've got the bag on the rice trick. So he's waiting on me to get his phone back. Also being a wonderful cameraman. Shout out to him. But here's the tank I actually dropped it into, the betta tank, which you can see is all torn apart. There's no fish in here. I mean, there's one snail, and I think maybe a bristlenose. but the main hardscape, that rock and that pot, have been taken out. And I'm probably going to repurpose them for a different scape to help other fish feel comfortable. But as for the Antutas, they've been moved down into a tank with my other fish. My other fish. Bits and bobs mismatched. They're actually the tank that I took those pair of angelfish out of for medicine. But they're doing really good in there. Hopefully I can get some footage of those at the end of the video. Okay, so here's something fun. We're moving in towards the Crebensis tank. These guys are really beautiful. I showed you some clips earlier, so nothing really has changed except for some good news. I am 90% sure that we have gotten some fry. And the reason why I'm so sure is that they've been spending a lot of time in the back tank. The female has darkened up her colors a ton, a whole bunch. As in the last video, she kind of was a little turquoise, a little yellow, but now all the yellow has turned almost complete black. The reason for this would probably be that, in the wild, when you're spawning and you're at your most vulnerable point where you're the weakest, you want to kind of mute your colors down. Sure, the males will put on a show for the female, do a little shimmy, all the song and dance for her, but after that, they kind of go into a muted color stage where they can not be seen by other predators, and they're, obviously a little harder to track down, but they're spending a lot of time in this back corner. And here, let me get you some footage of that. There's the male over there, real pretty. Yeah. Okay, so I'll try and get you some footage of the eggs. I haven't even found the eggs yet, but I'm very positive they're in there. Obviously, this is only my second time breeding Crebensis, so I could be just completely wrong, complete airball, but hopefully I can get you some footage of the eggs. So, cameraman, did the footage switch? Unfortunate. Okay, hopefully in the next video I'll have some more updates on the eggs, but until then, that's the end of our tour. Hope you enjoyed watching my little aquarium room and my tanks. I don't want to be that guy, the smash the like button. I want to be as different as the next guy wants to not say those things. But unfortunately, I do have to tell you, make sure you subscribe, like, just so we can push these videos further and we can get some more people into this hobby. As for any of the fish in this video, anything, literally anything, even some of my breeding fish I might be wanting to get rid of. For an example, I'm not fully sure as if I'm going to continue this koi angelfish breeding project, as they're kind of a low value species. I mean, angelfish do hover around that $20 range as adults, but just with the amount of space that I'm working with, they're not fully fitting. I mean, that's not I can't say for sure yet, but hit me up if anybody's interested in getting a pair of high quality parasite-free koi angelfish that are spawning, proven breeding pair, and maybe even some fry if you'd like. But yeah, until then, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.